Why America produces more billionaires than any other country. Right now, somewhere in America, a 24-year-old is about to close a funding round that will make them worth $400 million. They didn't inherit it. They didn't win it. They built a system, and that is the word nobody talks about enough: system. In America, people become billionaires from software, burgers, warehouses, social media, electric cars, and even credit cards. Meanwhile, entire countries with millions of talented, hardworking people struggle to produce even one globally recognized billionaire. So the question is not, are Americans smarter? The real question is, why does America create wealth at a scale the rest of the world cannot replicate? Because billionaires are not created by hard work alone. They are created by systems. And America may have built the most powerful wealth-producing system in human history. Stay with me to the end of this video, because point 5 is the one that will completely change how you think about money and your own financial future. And if you're new here, this channel, The Wealth Forge, exists for one reason: to break down the hidden systems behind money, power, and wealth, so that people like you and me can actually understand the game being played around us. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications, because this is the kind of content most financial channels will never show you. 1. America rewards ownership, not labor. Here is something that will shake you if you really sit with it. Most people in the world are taught one financial rule from childhood: work harder, get good grades, get a good job, work harder than the person next to you. But America operates on a completely different principle. In America, the biggest rewards do not go to the hardest workers. They go to owners. Owners of companies, owners of technology, owners of intellectual property, owners of platforms, owners of financial systems. Think about this carefully. Jeff Bezos did not become the richest man on earth because he packed boxes faster than anyone. He became wealthy because he owned Amazon, the system that millions of workers operated inside of. Mark Zuckerberg did not get rich from posting online. He became rich because he owned the platform that 3 billion people use to post. The worker earns a salary. The owner earns a percentage of everything the worker produces. That gap between what labor earns and what ownership earns is where billionaires are born. America's economy is specifically designed to scale ownership massively through equity, shares, and intellectual property rights. And once ownership scales, wealth scales exponentially with it. Most countries teach their people to be better workers. America taught a generation of people to become owners. That difference alone explains most of the wealth gap. 2. The power of American capitalism. America did not just build an economy. It built an economic machine obsessed with one thing above everything else: growth. In many countries around the world, starting a business is about survival. Feed your family, keep the lights on. But in America, business became something else entirely. Business became a system for global domination. And to support that system, America built an infrastructure that no other country had at scale. Investors willing to fund wildly risky ideas, banks willing to finance aggressive expansion, markets willing to reward innovation before it even turns a profit. This is why a startup with zero revenue can raise $50 million. This is why companies that lose money for a decade can still be valued at billions. The system is not funding what exists today. It is funding what could exist tomorrow. Apple started in a garage. Amazon started as an online bookstore. Just books, nothing else. Facebook started in a Harvard dorm room as a way to rate classmates. None of these looked like trillion-dollar companies at the beginning, but America had the infrastructure to scale these ideas globally. Venture capital that takes massive risks for massive returns. Stock markets that let ordinary people buy into extraordinary companies. Consumer spending that feeds the machine constantly. Global cultural influence that makes American products the world's default choice. Other countries have talented people and good ideas. What they often lack is the system that funds, scales, and rewards those ideas at speed. 3. The stock market creates wealth that labor never could. Here is something most people fundamentally misunderstand about billionaires. They are not sitting in a room surrounded by cash. Most of their wealth exists as shares, equity, ownership stakes in companies. When Amazon's stock price rises by 10%, Jeff Bezos doesn't need to do anything. His net worth grows by billions while he sleeps. When Tesla has a good quarter, Elon Musk's wealth can increase by more in one afternoon than most people earn in multiple lifetimes. America understood something revolutionary early. If you turn business ownership into a tradable financial asset, then wealth stops being capped by what you can physically produce. It becomes tied to market perception, growth potential, and global scale. The US stock market, the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ. These are the largest financial markets on the planet, tens of trillions of dollars flowing through them. And they created a mechanism where founders could hold equity in companies worth more than the GDP of entire nations. This is not luck. This is financial engineering at a national level. And understanding this matters for you. Because the stock market is not just a playground for the wealthy. It is the same system that allowed ordinary Americans to build generational wealth through index funds, 401ks, and long-term investing. The question is always the same. Are you inside the system, or are you outside watching it? 4. America attracts the world's most ambitious people. Here is a fact that most people overlook when talking about American billionaires. A significant percentage of them, or their parents, were not born in America. Elon Musk, born in South Africa. Sergey Brin, co-founder of Google, born in Russia. Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, one of the most valuable companies on earth, born in Taiwan. Andy Jassy, CEO of Amazon. His family's immigrant story shapes everything about his drive. America became the most powerful talent magnet in human history. Scientists, engineers, entrepreneurs, investors, dreamers. Why did they all go to America and not somewhere else? Because America created something psychologically powerful. The credible belief that massive success is actually possible, and real, credible belief backed by visible examples, changes behavior fundamentally. When you believe a $100 million outcome is achievable, you make different decisions. You take bigger risks. You sacrifice more. You persist longer. That risk tolerance, multiplied across millions of ambitious immigrants chasing the same belief, creates an engine of innovation no other country has been able to replicate at scale. The talent comes to America. The ideas come to America. The capital follows the talent and the ideas. And the cycle keeps accelerating. 5. Failure is treated as tuition, not disgrace. This is the point I promised you at the beginning. And I want you to sit with this one carefully, because it is more important than most people realize. In most societies around the world, failure destroys you. Your family is embarrassed. Your community judges you. You lose status, credibility, sometimes everything. So people stop taking risks. They play it safe. They choose the job over the startup, the salary over the equity, the security over the ownership. And that choice, made millions of times across millions of people, is why billionaires don't emerge from those places at scale. America is culturally different. In Silicon Valley, if you haven't failed at least once, people wonder if you've ever really tried anything ambitious. Failure in America is treated as tuition. You paid for an education in what doesn't work. Now go build what does. This is not a small cultural difference. It is a massive structural advantage. Because billion-dollar companies are almost never built perfectly on the first attempt. Before Elon Musk had Tesla and SpaceX, he had near bankruptcies in both. Before Jeff Bezos had the everything store, he had failed product launches. Before Howard Schultz built Starbucks into a global empire, he was rejected by nearly 250 investors. America's culture allows you to try, fail, learn, try again and again, until the system works. That is why America produces more billionaires. Not because Americans are smarter or luckier, but because the culture gives people enough runway to eventually get it right.
I have a secret to share with you, and I need you to listen carefully.
6. The media sold the world a dream. And it worked. America does not only export products, it exports ambition through Hollywood films about rags to riches success stories, through music that glorifies wealth and hustle, through business culture that turned entrepreneurs into celebrities, through social media that puts success in front of billions of eyes every single day. America created and weaponized the most powerful psychological brand in history, the American dream. The idea that no matter where you start, no matter who your parents are, no matter what you look like, if you work hard enough, think big enough, and execute boldly enough, extreme success is achievable. Whether that is fully true or not in every case is almost beside the point. Millions believe it, and belief at scale changes what a society produces. A society that believes in massive success produces more people willing to attempt massive things. And some of those attempts produce billionaires. The media made ambition contagious, and contagious ambition, backed by the right systems, creates wealth at a scale the world had never seen before. But the same system has a dark side you cannot ignore. Now here is the part of this conversation that most finance channels skip over. Because the same system that creates billionaires also creates some of the deepest inequality in the developed world. America produces enormous wealth, but it also produces households drowning in credit card debt. The average American carries over $6,000 in credit card balances at interest rates above 20%. A healthcare system so expensive that medical bills are the leading cause of personal bankruptcy in the country. A generation of young people buried under student loan debt before their careers even begin. And a widening gap, growing wider every decade, between those who own assets and those who only sell their time, because systems designed for extreme, uncapped growth almost always produce extreme, uncapped imbalance. The rich gain ownership, equity, assets that grow while they sleep. The poor and middle class remain trapped in labor, trading time for money in a cycle that rarely breaks itself. This is not an accident. It is a feature of the system, not a flaw. And this is exactly why millions of people work endlessly, loyally, and hard, while a small percentage accumulates wealth that compounds beyond imagination. America's system is extraordinarily powerful, but it was never designed to be equal. It was designed to reward those who understand it and leave behind those who don't. The real lesson. So what is the actual takeaway from all of this? The real lesson is not move to America. The real lesson is understanding how wealth systems work. Wherever you are in the world, billionaires are consistently created where ownership is rewarded over labor. Capital flows freely to ambitious ideas. Innovation can scale without artificial limits. Risk-taking is encouraged, and failure is survivable. The biggest financial shift in anyone's life happens when they stop thinking only as a worker and start understanding systems. Because modern wealth is almost never built purely through labor. It is built through ownership, through leverage, through scale, through understanding your economic positioning, and deliberately moving yourself inside better systems. The countries that dominate the next century may not be the ones with the most hard-working people. They will be the ones that build the strongest, most innovation-friendly, wealth-producing systems. And the individuals who escape financial struggle are almost always the ones who took the time to understand how those systems truly work, and then made deliberate moves to get inside them. That is what this channel exists for. Wealth Forge, where we break down the hidden systems behind money, power, and wealth every single week. If this video gave you even one idea that shifts how you think about money, hit subscribe right now. Leave a comment below telling me which of the 7 points hit hardest for you, and share this with someone who needs to hear it, because the first step to escaping a system you don't like is understanding exactly how it works. I'll see you in the next one.